On December 12, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center or GTWC noted that a developing area of low pressure had persisted about 945 kilometers southeast of Guam. Situated along the southern edge of the subtropical ridge, the system tracked steadily westward towards the Philippines, located with a region of good defluence and moderate wind shear. Deep convection was able to maintain itself over the circulation. Development of banding features and improvement of outflow indicated strengthening was likely. Further development of the following day prompted the GTWC to issue a tropical cyclone formation alert early on December 13. Less than 6 hours later, both the GTWC and the Japan Meteorological Agency or GMA classified the system as a tropical depression, with the former assigning the identifier 27 West. Maintaining westward track, the depression was forecast to intensify slower over the following 3 days. For much of December 13, a slight increase in shear displaced thunderstorm activity from the center of the depression, delaying intensification. By December 14, convection redeveloped over the low, and GTWC subsequently assessed the system have attained tropical storm status.
Early on December 15, the system crossed west of 135 degrees east and entered the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration area of responsibility. Upon doing so, Pag-asa began issuing advisories and assigned the cyclone with the local name Sendong. Shortly thereafter, the storm passed close to or over Palau. By 0600 UTC, the GMA upgraded the system to tropical storm status, at which they assigned it the name Washi. Maintaining a rapid westward track, Washi slowly became more organized, with low-level inflow improving during the latter part of December 15. On December 16, Washi reached its peak strength as a severe tropical storm and made its first landfall along the east coast of Mindanao.
A tropical storm had yet again devastated the Philippines in 2011. Tropical Sendong, or Washi, the first tropical storm in decades to ravage northern Mindanao with death, destruction, and despair in its wake. There are thousands dead and thousands more missing. There is so much to talk about loss, and every new death, every discovered disappearances is but a mere addition to the long list of missing casualties. But every tear, every drop of blood, every bead of sweet peaks, of loss of despair, of hope. After passing Mindanao, Washi weakened due to the land interaction, but the storm quickly regained its strength in the Sulu Sea. Late on December 17, Washi crossed Palawan and arrived in the South China Sea, and the system moved out of the 3AR on December 18. Washi weakened to a tropical depression and dissipated on December 19 because of cool, dry air in its association with the northern monsoon. Now, let's give the light to Daniel Camilosa and Demel Anion for the information about storms.
What is a tropical cyclone? Tropical refers to the geographical origin of these systems, which form almost exclusively over tropical seas. Cyclone refers to their cyclonic nature, with wind blowing counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. The opposite direction of circulation is due to the Coriolis effect. In general, a tropical cyclone is a rapidly rotating storm system characterized by a low-pressure center, strong winds, and a spiral arrangement of thunderstorms that produce heavy rain. Depending on its location and strength, a tropical cyclone is referred to by its names such as hurricane, typhoon, tropical storm, cyclonic storm, tropical depression, and simply cyclone. Tropical cyclones typically form over large bodies of relatively warm water. They derive their energy through evaporation of water, of the ocean surface, which ultimately recondenses into clouds and rain when moist air rises and cools to saturation. Tropical cyclones are typically between 100 and 4,000 kilometers. in diameter.
Thank you, Demo. There is no doubt that Sendong is a severe storm. Let us have a review on the different key terms that deals with storms. First, thunderstorm. Forms when warm, humid air rises in an unstable environment. It is a storm with lightning and thunder. It's produced by cumulonimbus cloud, usually producing gusty winds, heavy rain, and sometimes hail. Stages in the development of thunderstorm. Hurricanes are whirling tropical cyclones that produce winds of at least 199 km per hour and are known in the US hurricanes. Most hurricanes form between about 5 and 20 degrees north and south latitude. The North Pacific has the greatest number of storms, average 20 per year. Development of hurricanes. Hurricanes develop most often in summer when water temperatures are warm enough to provide the necessary heat and moisture to the air. Island is a donut-shaped area of intense cumulonimbus development and very strong winds that surrounds the eye of a hurricane cross-section of a hurricane. Hurricane intensity. The intensity of a hurricane is described using the Saffir-Simpson scale. Storm surge is the abnormal rise of the sea along a shore as a result of strong winds.
Severe tropical storm Washi brought 10 hours of torrential rains that triggered disastrous flooding over Mindanao, an area that rarely experiences tropical cycles. More than 200 mm of rain was reported in places where rivers were already swollen. During the overnight hours, hundreds of people were killed as floods watered, and landslides were destroyed homes along mountainsides. In some locations, floodwaters rose by 3.3 meters. In less than an hour, residents impacted by these floodwaters were forced to seek refuge on their roofs amidst 90 km per hour winds. The mayor of Iligan regarded the flood as the worst in the city history. More than 2,000 people were rescued from the hardest hit areas. Damage was estimated at 2,068 billion. Over half of the damage was due to damaged roads and bridges.
Massive relief operation involving the evacuation of 100 people occurred in the morning of December 17, 2011. Approximately 20,000 soldiers were mobilized to assist in recovery efforts and evacuation. The Philippine Coast Guard was dispatched to search for missing people after villages were reported to have been swept out to sea. 60 people rescued off the coast of El Salvador, Misamis Oriental, and another 120 in the water near Opol Township. President Benigno Aquino III visited Cagayan de Oro and Iligan on December 20, 2011, and declared a state of national calamity in the affected provinces. The total cost of damages, agriculture, and infrastructure is estimated at 999.9 billion according to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. The President also appealed to its citizens to help the victims in their way of celebrating Christmas in his Christmas message.
International and overseas humanitarian aid is pouring in for victims of severe tropical storm Sendong in northern Mindanao in the Philippines. Australian government provided a $1.01 million in financial aid. Danish government provided $53,000 in emergency funds for relief items. European Commission also allocated $3.9 million to provide emergency relief to tens of thousands of people affected by the storm. French government also provided $65,000 in emergency funds. The government of Indonesia provided $50,000 in financial aid and offered to send search, rescue, and medical teams. The Japanese government provided $320,000 worth of relief goods for victims of the storm. The government of Malaysia provided $100,000 in financial assistance for relief and rehabilitation. the Chinese government provided $1.1 million in financial aid. The government of Singapore also provided 39,000 US dollars in funds and 22,000 US dollars worth of relief goods. South Korea also provided $500,000 in financial aid. The British Red Cross provided 220,000 US dollars in funds to support relief efforts. December 21, the United Emergency Relief Agency released $3 million in funds to improve water and sanitation. The United States also provided $100,000 in funds to support relief efforts. Non-food items such as hygiene kits, water purification tablets, and containers were to be sent to the Philippines.
So how are we going to prepare for these disasters?
The following are the things to do before, during, and after a typhoon. Before typhoon, keep yourself updated. With the various media platforms, it is next to be impossible to not be updated of the supposed typhoon's movement. Inspect and clean up your house, especially your drainage system. Check to see if there's a need to fix your house, such as holes in your roofs, damaged doors, windows, or ceilings. Have them fixed as soon as possible. Do check as well your drainage system. If there's clogging, have them fix or remove any material that may possibly cause the clogging. Store ample amount of ready-to-eat foods and water. Make sure that the foods and water that you will store is adequate enough for you and your family will last for a few days. Ready-to-eat foods such as canned, packed foods are especially helpful when cooking is no longer feasible.
If you have second or third floors or any part of your house that is elevated, have your things, especially those that generate electricity, placed in there. This will keep water from coming in contact with these stuffs. If you are advised to evacuate, do so. These people who will inform you of the need for evacuation are more knowledgeable than anyone else.
So don't be hard-headed, at least not during this time of distress. Always have your emergency kits with you. Your emergency kits may include first aid supplies, candles, flashlights, light vests, and battery-operated radio. During typhoon, if no advice to evacuate was announced, then better stay inside your house, keep yourself calm, and postpone any scheduled travels. If you are told to evacuate, calmly comply.
Monitor and update yourself with the progress of the typhoon through radio, television, or the internet.
After typhoon,
if your house was one of heavily damaged, make sure that you need to be advised of the authorities regarding its safety and stability.
if you are uncertain of your house's condition, do not go yet. If the house didn't have that damage, have your house inspected and do the needed repairs immediately. Just be safe in inspecting your house and avoid scattered debris. Watch out for live wires or any electrical outlet that may be submerged in water. If you don't have the sufficient knowledge on electrical wirings, have a knowledgeable person inspect these wires as well as your appliances before you actually use them again.
Wear protective gear such as boots. Waterborne diseases such as leptospirosis do not spread out during typhoon but also after the typhoon. The bacteria that causes this disease may still be present in moist soils or scattered debris, and if this contacts with your open room, the chances of developing such disease is very much likely. Boil water before drinking as they may be contaminated.
This is Audrey Lozada,
Garten Salise,
Angela Shara Paolio,
and this is Science Daily Tribune.